The rain hammered against the window like it was trying to break in, and Elias Hawthorne stood frozen in the doorway, watching Wyatt Kensington kiss her. Deep, unhurried, the kind of kiss that said everything Elias had ever wanted but could never have. Wyatt's hand cupped the back of her neck, pulling her closer under the flicker of the living room lamp, oblivious to the world, to him, to the way Elias's heart cracked open right there in the dim Seattle apartment they shared. He turned away too late, the door creaking like a confession, and Wyatt's voice sliced through the downpour outside. "Elias? That you, man? Come in. Don't just lurk like a ghost." Elias forced a smile that felt like chewing glass, kicking the door shut behind him with his boot. The apartment smelled like takeout Thai and Wyatt's cologne. Something woodsy, like pine after rain, which was fitting for Seattle, where the sky wept more than it shone. Haven Point wasn't the quaint coastal town its name suggested. It was a gritty suburb on the edge of the city, all fogged-up windows and coffee shops that stayed open till dawn for the insomniacs and the heartbroken. Elias had moved here 2 years ago, chasing a graphic design gig that paid just enough to keep the lights on, and Wyatt had answered his Craigslist ad like fate with a cruel sense of humor. Broad-shouldered ex-linebacker from Texas, now slinging code at a startup downtown, straight as the Columbia River and twice as unyielding. "Yeah, it's me," Elias said, shrugging off his soaked jacket and hanging it on the hook by the door. The girl, Lila, was it? Or Lena? Detached herself from Wyatt with a laugh that tinkled like wind chimes in a storm. She had that effortless West Coast vibe. Blonde waves, freckles across her nose, a tattoo of a wave curling up her wrist. "Hey," she said, waving like they were old pals. "I'm Lena. Wyatt's told me all about you. All about him." Elias wondered what that meant. The straight roommate who kept the fridge stocked with craft beer? The guy who blasted indie folk playlists at 2 a.m. when he couldn't sleep? Or the one who stared a beat too long when Wyatt stripped down after a run, muscles glistening under the hallway light? "Nice to meet you," Elias replied, his voice steady despite the churn in his gut. He crossed to the kitchenette, grabbing a beer from the fridge to have something to do with his hands. The label was damp, condensation beating like tears. Wyatt clapped him on the shoulder as he passed, that easy touch sending a jolt through Elias like static from a wool blanket. "Lena's crashing tonight. Hope that's cool." Wyatt's eyes were green as sea glass, crinkled at the corners from too many grins. His dark hair still tousled from her fingers. At 25, he carried himself like he owned the room. Hell, the whole rainy block. Shoulders back, jaw set in that perpetual half-smile that made Elias's chest ache. "Cool as the sound," Elias quipped, popping the cap and taking a swig that burned going down. He leaned against the counter, watching them settle on the couch, Lena curling into Wyatt's side like she belonged there. Which she did, probably. Wyatt was straight, after all, girls at every bar crawl, stories of high school sweethearts back in Austin. A Tinder profile Elias had glimpsed once, full of sun-kissed selfies and bio lines about hiking Rainier and craving tacos at midnight. Elias? He was the sidebar, the safe harbor, the one who listened to Wyatt's rants about buggy code or his mom's latest guilt trip calls from Texas. The night blurred into small talk. Lena's job at a boutique in Capitol Hill, Wyatt's latest project deadline, Elias's freelance hell with a client who wanted edgy, but meant neon vomit. Laughter rippled out, genuine on their end, forced on his. By 11, Elias excused himself to his room, claiming a headache from the barometric pressure drop. Lies were easier than truths, especially ones that started with "I love you" and ended with "but you're not mine." He collapsed onto his bed, the springs groaning under him, and stared at the ceiling cracks that mapped out like veins. Seattle had a way of seeping into your bones. The endless gray, the fairies cutting through mist like ghosts, the way the Space Needle pierced the clouds on rare clear days, promising something brighter. Elias had come here to escape. Small-town Ohio whispers about the sensitive kid who drew instead of played football. The college dorm where he'd kissed a boy for the first time and felt the world tilt right. But escape was a myth. It followed you, rain or shine. A knock pulled him back. "Elias? You good?" Wyatt's voice, muffled through the door. "Yeah, just decompressing." He sat up, running a hand through his hair, which was longer now, curling at the nape like it had a mind of its own. The door cracked open, Wyatt filling the frame in his faded mariner's tee and sweats, Lena's laughter echoing faintly from the living room. She headed out early shift tomorrow. Thought I'd check on you. You seemed off. Elias's pulse kicked up, traitor that it was. Nah, just the weather. Makes me philosophical or whatever. Wyatt chuckled, stepping in uninvited, perching on the edge of the desk cluttered with sketchpads and empty mugs. Philosophical Elias. That's a new one. Spill. What's eating you? If only he knew. Elias could map it out. The way Wyatt's laugh rumbled like thunder over the Olympics. How he'd sling an arm around Elias after a bad day, calling him bro like it was armor. Or the mornings when Wyatt cooked breakfast, eggs over easy, bacon crisp, shirtless, humming off-key to some podcast about quantum physics. It was torture wrapped in tenderness, a roommate bond that blurred lines Elias swore he'd never cross. Nothing, Elias said finally, forcing levity. Just thinking about that trip we talked about. Road trip down the coast? Big sir. Maybe? Before the rains turn it into a mudslide. Wyatt's face lit up, that boyish spark that made Elias's resolve fray. Hell yeah. Pack the truck, blast some Fleet Foxes, live off gas station burritos. When? Next weekend? My schedule's clear. Done. Wyatt stood, ruffling Elias's hair like he was a kid brother. The touch lingered, warm and casual, gone before Elias could savor it. Get some sleep, philosopher. We've got adventures ahead. The door clicked shut, and Elias exhaled, sinking back. Adventures. If only Wyatt knew the real one brewing inside him. The slow burn of wanting what you couldn't have. The kind that started with a glance and ended in silence. Outside, the rain softened to a patter, lulling him toward dreams where lines blurred and straight was just a suggestion. Days bled into weeks, the apartment a rhythm of shared spaces and unspoken rules. Wyatt's startup kept him late, code debugging marathons that left him crashing on the couch with takeout wrappers as blankets. Elias picked up the slack. Laundry folded military neat, playlists curated for Wyatt's commutes. Springsteen for the drive to Tacoma, Bon Iver for the fog-shrouded evenings. It was domesticity without the label, a dance around the elephant in the room named desire. One Thursday, Elias came home to find Wyatt pacing the living room, phone clutched like a grenade. Mom called again, he muttered, tossing it onto the coffee table. Says Dad's health is slipping, heart stuff. Wants me to come home for Christmas. Play the prodigal son. Elias dropped his bag, sliding onto the stool at the kitchen island. You gonna go? Wyatt rubbed his neck, muscles corded tight. Hate flying back into that. Texas heat, family barbecues, the whole when you settling down interrogation. Like I'm defective if I'm not hitched by 26. Elias's throat tightened. Defective. He knew that word, tasted it in the mirror after his first breakup, when the guy ghosted him for a phase. You're not defective, Wyatt. You're you. That's enough. Wyatt met his eyes, something raw flickering there. Gratitude? Maybe? Or the echo of loneliness they both carried like old scars. Thanks, man. Means a lot. He grabbed 2 beers, handing one over, clinking bottles in a toast to nothing and everything. They talked till midnight. Wyatt's fears of turning into his old man, chain-smoking and bitter. Elias's own ghosts, the Ohio winters that froze more than ponds. Vulnerability hung between them, thick as the mist rolling in from the bay. By Friday, Lena was back, her presence a reminder of boundaries. She and Wyatt cooked, pasta carbonara that filled the air with garlic and promise, while Elias sketched in his room, charcoal smudging his fingers black. Laughter filtered through the walls, and he wondered if this was purgatory. Close enough to touch paradise, far enough to bleed. Saturday dawned improbably clear, the sun a shy intruder after weeks of gloom. They loaded Wyatt's beat-up Ford F-150 with coolers and maps, heading south on I-5 toward the Olympic Peninsula. The road unspooled like a promise, evergreens blurring past, the radio crooning about lost loves and open skies. Wyatt drove, one hand on the wheel, the other drumming rhythms on his thigh that Elias stole glances at, denim stretched taut. "Pull over here," Wyatt said at a turnout overlooking the Strait of Juan de Fuca, waves crashing silver below. They hiked a trail slick with moss, Wyatt leading with that easy athleticism, pausing to point out eagles wheeling overhead. At the overlook, they sat on a driftwood log, sandwiches unwrapped, the world vast and indifferent. "You ever think about it?" Wyatt asked suddenly, gaze fixed on the horizon. "What if life's just this? One long road with no real destination?" Elias's heart stuttered. "All the time. But maybe the road's the point. The views, the company." Wyatt turned, green eyes searching. "Company like this? Yeah. Couldn't ask for better." The words landed soft, a hook in Elias's chest. He nodded, swallowing the urge to lean in, to bridge the gap with a truth that could shatter them. Instead, he joked about seagulls stealing their chips, and they laughed into the wind. Back in Haven Point that night, the rain returned with vengeance, drumming secrets from the roof. Wyatt crashed early, Lena's texts lighting up his phone like fireflies. Elias lay awake, replaying the day, Wyatt's profile against the sea, the brush of shoulders on the trail. Love was a thief, stealing sleep and sanity, leaving only echoes. Monday brought routine's cruel mercy. Elias at his drafting table, pixels bending to his will. Wyatt buried in screens, muttering curses at algorithms. Dinner was pizza on the fire escape, city lights twinkling below like fallen stars. "Remember that time in college?" Wyatt said, cheese stringing from his slice. "Pledged the same frat, got blackout drunk on Natty Light, woke up with Sharpa mustaches?" Elias laughed, the memory warm. "You drew the worst one. A unibrow that lasted a week." Wyatt grinned, nudging his foot under the table. "Payback for you spiking my beer with hot sauce." Contact, fleeting but electric. Elias pulled back, heart racing. "Good times." "Yeah." Wyatt's voice softened. "Miss that sometimes. The simplicity." Elias wanted to say it then, how nothing was simple, how every glance was a confession. But the words stuck, and the moment passed into pizza crusts and rain-slicked streets. The week crescendoed with Wyatt's birthday. Elias planned low-key. Microbrew flight from the local taproom, a cake from the bakery down the block with "another lap around the sun," scrawled in ganache. Lena showed, of course, bearing a wrapped gift that clinked suspiciously, booze probably. They toasted in the living room, vinyl spinning Dylan covers, the air thick with hops and hope. "To 26, Wyatt said, arms slung over Elias's shoulders in a half-hug. "And to roommates who make it bearable." Elias clinked glasses, the embrace burning through his shirt. "To that." Lena pulled Wyatt to dance then, slow and swaying, her head on his chest. Elias watched from the armchair, nursing his stout, the scene a knife twist. When she left, Wyatt flopped beside him, buzzed and loose. "You're the best, Elias. Don't know what I'd do without you." The honesty hit like whiskey, sharp, warming. "Ditto," Elias whispered, eyes on the floor. Wyatt's hand found his knee, squeezing once. "Night, bro." Alone, Elias traced the ghost of that touch, wondering how long he could keep the dam from breaking. Seattle's nights were long, full of what-ifs, and his heart was a harbor taking on water. The dam didn't break so much as crack, a hairline fracture that widened with every shared sunrise. October slipped into November, leaves turning the parks into fire, the air crisp with salt from the sound. Elias threw himself into work, a branding package for a queer-owned coffee roaster in Fremont. Logos blooming with pride flags woven into steam swirls. It paid the rent and fed his soul, a quiet rebellion against the ache Wyatt stirred. Wyatt, meanwhile, was unraveling. The startup crunch peaked, deadlines like guillotines, his eyes ringed with fatigue. Elias found him at 3 a.m. one night, hunched over his laptop in the kitchen, coffee gone cold. "Go to bed," Elias urged, closing the screen gently. "World won't end without this sprint." Wyatt looked up, defeated. "Feels like it will." Lena's pissed, canceled plans again. "Says I'm married to the job." Elias bit back the flare of jealousy, pouring fresh coffee instead. She's got a point. But you're killing it. Give yourself grace. Wyatt's laugh was hollow. Grace, that's your department, Mr. Artist. They talked, words tumbling like autumn leaves. Wyatt's fear of failure. The Texas shadow of man-up expectations. Elias's own imposter syndrome. The voice whispering his designs were too soft for clients. Dawn crept in, painting the walls gold, and Wyatt finally crashed, head on Elias's shoulder on the couch. The weight was exquisite torture. Trust incarnate, innocent and devastating. Mornings after became ritual. Elias sketching while Wyatt showered, steam curling under the door like secrets. One day, Wyatt emerged towel-clad, droplets tracing paths down his chest, and caught Elias staring. What? Wyatt teased, flexing mockingly. Nothing, Elias stammered, heat flooding his face. Just zoned out. Wyatt smirked, oblivious. You're weird, Hawthorne. In the best way. Weird. It echoed the old taunts, but from Wyatt, it landed like affection. Elias filed it away, a talisman against the nights when doubt clawed deep. Thanksgiving loomed, a family obligation neither relished. Wyatt's invite to Austin came via guilt-laced email from his mom, turkey, pecan pie, the works. Come with, Wyatt asked over burgers at Alki Beach, gulls wheeling overhead. Be my buffer. Mom loves you. Says you're the son she never had. Elias's fork paused mid-air, salad forgotten. Me? In Texas? I'd stick out like a vegan at a rodeo. Wyatt grinned. Exactly. Shake things up. Plus, free barbecue. The idea terrified and thrilled. Wyatt's world. Unfiltered. A glimpse behind the straight-laced facade. Okay, Elias said, pulse thundering. But if they interrogate me about grandkids, I'm out. Deal. Wyatt's fist bump sealed it, knuckles brushing skin. Packing was chaos. Elias's duffel stuffed with hoodies and sketchbooks, Wyatt's with flannels and boots polished for show. The flight was turbulence-riddled, Wyatt white-knuckling the armrest, Elias's hand hovering, unspoken comfort. Breathe, he murmured. I've got you. Wyatt's grip transferred, brief but fierce. Thanks. Hate this shit. Austin greeted them with heat that wrapped like a smothering hug. The airport a blast of barbecue smoke and twangy country from overhead speakers. Wyatt's mom, Carla, enveloped them in a cloud of perfume and pie scent, her hug bone-crushing. Elias, look at you, city's treating you right. His dad, Harlan, clapped Wyatt's back, eyes appraising Elias with quiet curiosity. The ranch house sprawled on the outskirts, all wide porches and creaky swings, horses nickering in the corral under live oaks draped in Spanish moss. Dinner was a feast. Turkey golden, cornbread stuffing, sweet tea sweating in pitchers. Relatives trickled in. Aunts with drawls thick as molasses, cousins ribbing Wyatt about his fancy Seattle ways. Elias played the part. Charming, deflecting questions about that special someone, with jokes about his true love being a Wacom tablet. Wyatt watched, amused, his foot nudging Elias's under the table. A Morse code of solidarity. Nights were the unraveling. They shared Wyatt's old room. Twin beds pushed against opposite walls. Posters of Longhorns football faded to ghosts. Moonlight slanted through blinds, and Wyatt whispered confessions in the dark. High school heartbreaks, the pressure to enlist like his granddad, the night he came out to himself as not quite fitting the mold. Not gay, Wyatt clarified, voice low, but not all in on the script either. Questioning, maybe, fluids, labels, it's messy. Elias's breath caught, the room shrinking. Messy is human. Own it. Wyatt turned toward him, shadow profile sharp. What about you? Ohio boy, big dreams. Ever feel like you're faking it? Every day. All the time, Elias admitted. But with you, it's real. Silence stretched, charged. Wyatt's hand found the space between beds, palm up. Elias hesitated, then laced fingers. A bridge, fragile and electric. They slept like that, breaths sinking, the world outside forgotten. Morning brought awkwardness. Hands withdrawn at dawn's light, breakfast chatter covering the shift. But the day hummed with new ease. Wyatt pulling Elias to the barn, teaching him to saddle a mare named Daisy, laughter echoing as Elias nearly toppled. "Easy, cowboy," Wyatt teased, steadying his waist, thumbs pressing divots that seared. Afternoon was football in the yard, cousins tackling with glee, Elias sidelined sketching the chaos. Wyatt jogged over, sweat slicked, collapsing beside him. "Join next round." "Nah, I'm the documentarian." Elias tilted his pad, showing a caricature of Wyatt mid-throw, heroic and absurd. Wyatt's laugh boomed. "Nail on the head. You're magic with that." Magic. The word lingered, a spell against the inevitable return north. Thanksgiving blurred into blur of pie and porch swings, Carla cornering Elias for the real scoop on Wyatt. "He's happier with you around," she said, eyes knowing. "Like he's found his footing." Elias swallowed, pie crust crumbling in his fist. "He's got good footing. Always has." The flight home was smoother, hands not touching but awareness crackling like static. Seattle's rain welcomed them, cool reprieve from Texas sun. Unpacking, Wyatt bumped shoulders in the hall. "Thanks for coming. Meant the world." "Any time," Elias said, meaning forever. December deepened the intimacy. Holiday lights strung Fremont like veins of light, markets bustling with fir boughs and mulled wine. They decorated the apartment, Wyatt untangling strands with mock curses, Elias hanging ornaments. A glass needle from Pike Place, a wooden cowboy from Austin. To new traditions, Wyatt toasted with eggnog, foam on his lip. Elias wiped it away on impulse, thumb lingering. Wyatt froze, eyes darkening. Not with shock, but something deeper, uncharted. "Sorry?" Elias breathed, pulling back. "Don't be." Wyatt's voice was gravel. Then, lighter. "Race you to the tree topper?" The moment shelved, but it hummed beneath. Possibility, peril. Christmas Eve. Lena hosted a party. Ugly sweaters, spiked cider, indie rock pulsing. Elias arrived late, design deadline biting, to find Wyatt cornered by her friends. Stories of their perfect dates. Jealousy coiled, venomous. He nursed a drink in the kitchen, until Wyatt appeared, sweater reindeer askew. "Escaping the interrogation?" "Observing," Elias said. "You're a natural." Wyatt leaned close, breath warm. "Bored without my buffer?" "Always." "Maybe. Dance with me." Wyatt extended a hand, playful dare. Elias took it, letting Wyatt lead to the makeshift floor. Bodies swayed, closer than friends should, Wyatt's hand low on his back. The song shifted slow, and Wyatt's forehead rested briefly on Elias's. Intimate? Unintended? Lena's laugh cut through, pulling Wyatt away. "Your turn," she said, claiming him. Elias retreated to the porch, city lights blurring through unshed tears. Love was a spectator sport, and he was losing. New Year's loomed, resolutions unspoken. They rang in the year on the roof, fireworks blooming over the needle, Wyatt's arm around Elias's waist as midnight struck. "To us?" Wyatt murmured, chin on his shoulder. "To us." Elias leaned into it, heart full and fracturing. January brought ice storms. The city locked in crystalline hush. Wyatt's startup folded a project, layoffs whispering like wind. He came home shattered, bottle in hand. "Fucked it up?" he slurred, collapsing on the couch. Elias knelt, taking the bottle. "You? Never." Wyatt's eyes, red-rimmed. Lena left, said I'm distant, like she's right. Elias's relief warred with pity. "Give her space. You're grieving a loss." Wyatt pulled him down, hugged desperate. "Stay? Please." All night, Elias held him, whispers soothing fever dreams. Dawn found them tangled, Wyatt's face in the crook of Elias's neck. "You're my anchor," Wyatt breathed, awake now, gaze intense. "And you're mine." The truth slipped, bare. Wyatt didn't pull away. Instead, his fingers traced Elias's jaw, exploratory, tender. The kiss, when it came, was tentative. Lips brushing, question and answer. Elias melted, hands in Wyatt's hair, the world narrowing to salt and sigh. Then Wyatt recoiled, eyes wide. Shit. It's okay, Elias gasped, though it wasn't. Wyatt fled to his room, door shutting like a guillotine. Days passed in frost. Polite nods, avoided eyes. Elias buried in work, sketches dark with longing. Wyatt threw himself into job hunts, interviews crisp-suited. One night, rain lashing, Wyatt knocked. "Can we talk?" Elias nodded, throat dry. "I'm sorry," Wyatt started, sitting cross-legged on the floor. "That kiss confused me. I'm straight, Elias, or thought I was. But you're everything. Friend, more? I don't know." Elias's chest cracked. "I'm gay, Wyatt. Have been since Ohio dirt roads. And I love you, not as a bro. You." Silence. Heavy. Wyatt's hand reached, hesitant. "I care. Deeply. But this scares me." "Fear's okay," Elias said. "But hiding? That's the killer." They talked till stars wheeled. Boundaries, bisexuality's gray. The Texas ghosts haunting Wyatt. No promises but a packed honesty space. February thawed the ice, friendship mending like cracked pavement. Movie nights resumed, elbows brushing without spark of panic. But undercurrent thrummed. Glances lingering, touches charged. Valentine's, Elias baked heart-shaped cookies, platonic gesture. Wyatt arrived with roses for friendship, he said. They laughed over rom-coms, wine loosening tongues. "You're brave," Wyatt said midway through when Harry met Sally. "Owning it all." "You're kind," Elias countered. "Seeing me." The almost kiss hung, unfinished symphony. Spring hinted green, cherry blossoms dusting Capitol Hill. Wyatt landed a gig at a bigger firm, remote, flexible. Celebration dinner, oysters at Elliott's, view of ferries slicing bay. To new chapters, Wyatt toasted, foot hooking Elias's under table. Chapters. Elias wondered if there's overlapped. Home. Buzzed. Wyatt pulled him into a hug, long, swaying. "Love you, man." The words, ambiguous, ignited. Elias held tighter. "Love you too." Spring equinox brought storm, literal, thunder rumbling Olympics. Power flickered, candles guttering. They played cards by firelight, shadows dancing walls. Wyatt folded, eyes on Elias. "Remember Austin? How could I forget?" Hands in the dark, confessions. Wyatt leaned in, deliberate. The kiss this time was fire, deep, claiming. Elias responded, years want pouring out, hands mapping familiar terrain. They tumbled to the rug, clothes shedding like inhibitions. Wyatt's body was revelation. Strong lines yielding soft, gasps naming Elias like prayer. It was messy, fervent, exploration, affirmation. After, tangled in blankets, Wyatt traced Elias's spine. "This changes everything." "Or nothing," Elias whispered. "We're still us." But everything shifted. Mornings blurred. Coffee shared nude, lazy kisses over toast. Dates disguised as hangs, hikes in Discovery Park, hands linked on trails. Wyatt navigated bisexuality's map, therapy sessions via Zoom, books dog-eared on the nightstand. Lena resurfaced, texts probing. Wyatt was honest, exploring, with Elias. Her reply, "Knew it, be happy." Summer beckoned, heat waves shimmering off asphalt. They planned escape. Cabin in the Cascades, no signal, just pines and stars. Packing, Elias paused at the mirror. Hazel eyes bright, scars fading. Love, real now, was obstacle overcome. Or so he thought. The cabin perched on the edge of an alpine meadow, timbers weathered silver by Cascades' winters, the kind of place that whispered secrets to the wind. Wyatt drove the winding logging road with windows down, pine scent thick as they crested the pass. radio fading to static then silence. Elias navigated via crumpled map, fingers tapping rhythms on his thigh. Nerves or excitement, he couldn't parse. This was their first real getaway. No roommate's pretense. Just two men stealing time from the world. "Race you to the door," Wyatt called as they parked, gravel crunching under tires. He bolted, laughing, Elias chasing with mock curses, lungs burning sweet. Wyatt fumbled the key, and Elias tackled him against the porch rail, tickling ribs till pleas dissolved into kisses. Deep sun warmed, the meadow alive with lupins swaying purple. Inside was rustic charm. Stone fireplace, loft bed draped in quilts, kitchenette stocked with staples from a Leavenworth grocer. They unpacked lazy, Wyatt chopping wood on the back stoop, axe swinging rhythmic, muscles coiling under sun. Elias sketched him from the glider, charcoal capturing sweat-glistened focus, the way his brow furrowed like gathering storm. Dusk brought trout from the creek, grilled over open flame, potatoes foil-wrapped in coals. Wine from a screw-cap bottle, cheap but heady. They ate cross-legged on the porch, stars pricking velvet sky, Wyatt's head on Elias's lap as crickets chorused. "Tell me something true," Wyatt murmured, fingers toying with Elias's belt loop. Elias traced his jaw, stubble rasping. "I used to dream of places like this. You in them." Wyatt's eyes, fire reflected, softened. "Me too. Just didn't know the details." Laughter, then quiet. They made love on the bearskin rug. Slow this time, learning curves, breaths sinking like tides. Wyatt's whispers were revelations. Vulnerabilities laid bare. The boy who'd hidden crushes on teammates behind bravado. Elias shared fragments. Ohio summers skinny dipping in quarries. The terror of first love's bloom. Nights blurred. Hikes to hidden falls, where they swam nude, water shocking cold, bodies colliding in spray. Afternoons reading aloud from Kerouac, voices weaving through pines. Evenings, stargazing from the loft, Wyatt's arm anchor around Elias's waist. "This is it," Wyatt said one dawn, coffee steaming as mist burned off the lake. "The real thing." Elias nodded, throat full. "Real, yes, but fragile as dew." Back in Haven Point, summer sweltered, city pulsing with festivals and fairy horns. Their rhythm deepened, mornings tangled in sheets, Wyatt's commute kissed goodbye. Evenings cooking fusion, Texas chili with Seattle salmon, spices mingling like their worlds. Friends noticed, subtle shifts in Wyatt's stories, the way Elias's hand found his knee at barbecues. Coming out was gradual. Wyatt told his mom over FaceTime, voice steady, "Seeing someone. Elias." Carla's pause stretched, then warmth. "'Bout time you followed your heart, son." Harlan grunted approval later. "Long as he's good to you." Elias's circle, queer artists from his co-op, embraced seamless, brunches turning interrogations into toasts. But ripples spread. Old frat bros from college, texts laced with J/K, emojis masking unease. Wyatt shrugged them off, but Elias saw the flinch, the armor cracking. August heat peaked with the county fair in Puyallup, carnival lights, funnel cakes greasy sweet, Ferris wheel creaking skyward. They wandered hand-veiled, cotton candy dissolving on tongues, Wyatt winning a stuffed orca at ring toss. On the midway, a cluster of teens sneered, whispers of fags, and Wyatt tensed, grip tightening. "Ignore," Elias murmured, but Wyatt spun, green eyes flashing. "Problem." The kids scattered, bravado crumbling. Wyatt exhaled, shoulders slumping. "Hate that shit. For you." "For us," Elias corrected, pulling him close amid the crowd. "We're okay." But doubt seeded. Wyatt's new job demanded travel. Conferences in Portland, clients in Boise, nights alone stretching Elias thin. Sketches turned somber, lines jagged with absence. September brought equinox again, leaves flaming. Wyatt returned from a week in Cali, tan deepening, stories of Napa vines. But his kiss at the airport was hurried, eyes distant. "Missed you," he said, but it rang hollow. Dinner that night. Takeout faux steam curling. Wyatt poked at noodles, fork idle. Boss mentioned a transfer. SF office. Better pay. Faster track. Elias's spoon clattered. San Francisco, 2 hours south, worlds away. And Wyatt's gaze evaded. Thinking about it. For us, fresh start, no small-town stairs. But the word twisted. What about here? Our life. It's good. Wyatt rushed. But bigger. You could freelance anywhere. Elias's chest hollowed. I'm rooted. Gigs, friends. Wyatt reached across, hand covering. Talk it over. No rush. Rush. Everything felt accelerated. Love's bloom to wither. Nights after, Wyatt made fervent. Bodies crashing like waves. But Elias sensed the undercurrent. Fear's riptide. October fog rolled thick, mirroring minds. Elias confided in his therapist, sessions via park bench when weather allowed. It's progress, she said, but change tests foundations. Wyatt's decision brewed. Pros lists on the fridge, career, son. Cons, distance from family, the apartment's creaks. Elias added sticky notes. Our history. Seattle rain, your favorite. Halloween party at the co-op. Pumpkins carved grinning. Punch spiked with absinthe. Wyatt donned pirate, Elias ghost, sheets ethereal. They danced, bodies flush, but Wyatt's laugh rang forced, eyes scanning exits. Midnight on the fire escape, fog tendrils curling. I turned it down, Wyatt said, voice small. For us. Relief flooded. Elias pulling him into sheet-scented kiss. Thank you. But seed of resentment sprouted, Wyatt's sacrifice. Unspoken ledger. November elections buzzed. City divided. Rainbow flags waving defiant. They marched in the Pride Ally rally. Signs aloft. Love wins. Wyatt chanted loud, hand in Elias's, but post-march beers turned tense. Wyatt venting about woke overload. Words slipping careless. You sound like them, Elias said, hurt sharp. Wyatt backpedaled. Didn't mean shit. I'm trying. Trying. The word weaponized. Love's labor fraying. Thanksgiving redux. Austin again, this time as couple. Carla's hug enveloped both. Pie shared conspiratorial. Harlan grilled Wyatt gentle. Happy. Damn right, Wyatt said, arm around Elias. But flights home. Turbulence again. Wyatt gripping Elias's hand white. What if it's not enough? He whispered over engine roar. Elias's heart plummeted. It is. We make it. December holidays glittered. Tree strung anew. Gifts exchanged. Wyatt's leather journal for Elias's sketches. Elias's custom mug. Codebreaker extraordinaire. Hanukkah candles flickered beside the menorah Elias unpacked. Traditions blending. New Year's on the roof. Same as last. Fireworks. Wyatt's arm tight. But his kiss tasted bittersweet. To surviving, he toasted. Surviving, not thriving. Omen. January iced over. Wyatt's restlessness peaking. Late nights scrolling job boards. Size heavy. Elias confronted over breakfast. Oatmeal congealing. Talk to me, Elias pleaded. Wyatt's fork scraped plate. Feel stuck. Like I'm holding you back? Or you me? Bullshit. Elias snapped. Rare heat. We're building. Wyatt's eyes shadowed. Maybe I need to build solo. Figure the buy thing without me. Elias's voice broke. After everything? Not ending, Wyatt insisted. Space. Therapy's pushing it. Space. The cabin's echo now chasm. Elias agreed. Numb, separate beds. Polite distances. February's gray pressed. Wyatt couch-surfed at a coworker's. Apartment echoing empty. Elias sketched phantoms. Lines blurring tears. Calls sporadic. Miss you. Wyatt's voice tinny. Valentine's alone. Elias burned the cookies. Ashes bitter. Text from Wyatt. Sorry. Drinks. Bar in Belltown, dim neons. Wyatt slid in booth. Eyes haunted. This sucks. Yeah. Elias's beer foamed untouched. Wyatt's hand crept across table, retreating. Love you, but scared. Scared of what? Elias pressed. Me. The world's not kind. Elias's laugh pained. When has it been? Wyatt drained his pint. Need time. Please. Time. Granted. Clock ticking betrayal. Spring teased buds, but winter clung. Wyatt moved partial, clothes shuttling, presence ghosting. Friends tiptoed. Co-op brunches silent on the fracture. April showers unearthed truths. Elias found Wyatt's journal, left inadvertent. Pages scrawled doubts. Straight passing easier. Elias too intense. Heart shredded, Elias confronted. You think I'm too much? Voice quake. Wyatt's face crumpled. No, it's me. Can't breathe. With me. Elias clarified, packing bag. Goodbye, Wyatt. Door shut, rain swallowing sobs. Summer scorched without him. Elias thrived surface. Gigs booming, pride float designed radiant. But nights hollow, dreams of green eyes accusing. Wyatt's texts. Can we talk? Ignored. Fall leaves fell like regrets. November, election night vigil. Rain lashing, crowds chanting hope. Elias stood peripheral, sign-sodden. Then Wyatt, drenched, eyes pleading. Elias. Pulse roared. What? Fucked up. Miss us. Therapy's helping. I'm by fully. And in love. With you. Elias's umbrella tilted. Rain streaking. Too late. Wyatt stepped close, hand cupping cheek. Never. Kiss in downpour, salty wet. Renewal. But scars lingered, trust threadbare. They rebuilt slow. Coffee dates, boundaries drawn. Apartment reshared. Beds merging tentative. December solstice. Cabin return. Meadow snow-draped. Fire crackling. Wyatt knelt. Ring simple, silver band etched pines. Marry me. Voice tremble. Obstacles be damned. Elias's yes shattered quiet. Embrace fierce. But winter's end whispered warnings. Love's path, never straight. Winter's grip loosened grudgingly. Snowmelt swelling creeks to roar. The cascades shedding white from mud-slick trails. Elias and Wyatt's engagement was a quiet vow. Whispered over rings exchanged in the cabin's glow. No fanfare, just the crackle of pine logs and the weight of promise. Back in Haven Point, news spread soft. Carla's delighted call, Harlan's gruff about damn time. Co-op friends toasting with IPAs at a low-key dinner. But under the joy, fissures ran deep. Wyatt's journal words echoed in Elias's quiet moments. A serpent in the garden. Spring burgeoned defiant. Cherry blossoms carpeting sidewalks pink. The city exhaling after winter's choke. They planned piecemeal. A courthouse ceremony in June. Backyard reception at the co-op with fairy lights and fiddle bands. Wyatt dove into details. Suits tailored in Pioneer Square. Vows scribbled on napkins over late-night tacos. Elias sketched invitations. Intertwined initials blooming into evergreens. Symbol of roots entwined. Yet doubt gnawed. Wyatt's therapy continued, sessions spilling into evenings. His confessions of lingering shame. The Texas echo of manly metrics. I want this, he'd affirm, hands squeezing Elias's. But sometimes I wake sweating, dreaming I'm back there, hiding. Elias nodded, tracing wedding band prototypes on paper. We face it together. May brought Wyatt's company retreat. Team building in the San Juans. Ferries cutting whitecaps. He returned sun-kissed, stories of kayaking orcas. But distant, phone buzzing with work texts. Big push, he explained, crashing early. Elias lay awake, sealing cracks mocking unity. Memorial Day barbecue at Discovery Park. Blanket spread, grills smoking salmon, friends orbiting easy. Wyatt slung arm around Elias, performative at first, then genuine, laughing at inside jokes, stealing kisses amid frisbee tosses. But a coworker's offhand, didn't peg you for the type, landed like shrapnel, Wyatt's smile tightening. Later, trail walk. It stings. Wyatt admitted, ferns brushing calves. Like I'm on trial. You're not, Elias said, halting to frame his face. You're mine. Kiss fierce, reclaiming. But the seed planted. June wedding dawned mist-shrouded, courthouse steps slick. They stood in linen suits, Wyatt's green tie nodding to eyes, Elias's hazel picked up in pocket square. Vows simple. Through rains and roads, Wyatt said, voice steady. I choose you, Elias echoed, ring sliding warm. Reception hummed. Carla dancing with aunts, Harlan toasting to loves that last. Fiddle wailed, bodies swaying under strung bulbs, cake layered lavender honey. Elias caught Wyatt's gaze across fire pit, love, pure. Honeymoon, road trip echoes, Big Sur Cliff's plunging sea. They drove convertible top down, wind whipping, stopping at pullouts for picnics. Avocado toast, Chardonnay chilled in streams. Nights in cliffside inns, lovemaking to ocean crash, bodies salt-tanged. You're my horizon, Wyatt murmured one dawn. Head on Elias's chest, waves punctuation. And you're the sun, Elias replied, fingers in hair. Return to Haven Point, reality's reign. July heat baked streets, ferries packed tourists. Wyatt's promotion loomed. Lead dev, travel intensified. Elias's studio flourished. Queer youth workshops added. Murals splashed vibrant on community walls. August storm brewed subtle. Wyatt's old college buddy, Tyler, visited. Frat brother from Austin days, all backslaps and beers. Evenings stretched. Stories of glory days, Tyler's wife anecdotes. Wyatt slipping into bro-speak seamless. Elias played host, but exclusion chafed. Inside jokes excluding, glances appraising. One night, after Tyler crashed, Wyatt joined Elias in bed late. Bourbon breath. Good times, huh? Elias turned, hurt veiled. Yeah. Felt like third wheel. Wyatt's brow furrowed. Didn't mean Tyler's, just uncomplicated. Uncomplicated. The word barbed. And I'm not. Wyatt sighed, hand on hip. You are. But deeper. Sometimes I miss easy. Elias stiffened. Miss straight, you mean? Silence iced. Wyatt's retreat. Not that. Forget it. Forgotten? No. September's equinox brought harvest moons, but harvest sour. Wyatt's travel peaked. Conferences in Vegas, clients in NYC. Calls crackled static. Love you. Distant. Elias filled voids. Workshops thriving. A mural commission for the Pride Center. Rainbow arcs embracing evergreens. But loneliness echoed. Journal filling with fears. Is this betrayal's prelude? October fog thickened. Wyatt home sporadic, gifts proxy, Vegas keychain, NYC bagel voucher. Dinner reconnections faltered. Wyatt distracted. Eyes on laptop mid-meal. Present. Elias ventured. Fork paused. Wyatt blinked. Sorry. Deadline. Deadlines, always. November elections loomed again. Tensions national. Wyatt's feeds flooded conservative kin-forwards. Woke agenda. Debates sparking kitchen. You're blind. Elias snapped one eve. News droning protests. It's our fight. Wyatt's jaw set. Not blind. Balanced. Can't hate family. Balance tilted. Thanksgiving Austin. Carla's table strained. Harlan's questions probing Wyatt's adjustment. Tyler joined. Tales amplifying old selves. Elias excused early. Porch swing creaking solitude. Wyatt found him blanket draped. Rough. Exhausted. Elias confessed. Feeling like the experiment. Wyatt knelt, hands clasping. You're my life. Swear. Sworn, but oaths fray. December holidays fractured. Wyatt's firm holiday party. Black tie, Seattle skyline glittering. Elias in velvet blazer, arm linked Wyatt's, proud. But whispers circled. Execs' wives eyeing. So, how'd that happen? Wyatt's laugh strained, grip bruising. After party bar, Wyatt downed whiskeys, loosening. Tyler's starting a firm. Invited me in equity partner. Back in Austin. Elias's champagne soured. Austin. Think on it. Wyatt pressed, eyes pleading. Fresh. Family close. Slower pace. Elias's vision tunneled. Our life here's the fresh. You promised. Wyatt's hand trembled. Promised forever. But this, it's suffocating. Suffocating. Betrayals bloom. Because of me. No. Wyatt reached, but Elias recoiled. Go. Elias whispered. If it's easier. Wyatt's flight booked dawn. Apartment emptied slow. Boxes labeled yours. Wyatt's cologne lingering ghost. Christmas alone. Tree undecorated. Lights unstrung. Elias's gift. Engraved watch mailed. Returned undelivered. January's ice returned. Mirroring heart. Elias threw into work. Mural expanded. Youth group mentoring intensified. Friends rallied. Brunches dissecting. He's a fool. But fools loved once. February's gray. Valentine's card from Carla. He's lost, dear. Give time. Time again. March rains lashed. Elias's resolve washing. Therapy unpacked. You deserve reciprocity. April unearthed Wyatt's forgotten sketchbook. Pages Elias's face. Tender lines. Tears smudged ink. May's blooms mocked. Pride approached. Elias's float lead. Rainbow resilient. Rehearsal night. Wyatt appeared. Gaunt. Eyes hollow. Elias. Pulse betrayed. Why? Can't. Without you. Wyatt's voice cracked. Therapy soul-searching. Austin was escape. Not home. Came back. Back. Elias's walls trembled. Hurt me. I know. Wyatt stepped. Rain sheeting. Forgive. Kiss tentative. Then torrent. Forgiveness's flood. They tumbled home. Bodies reclaiming. Vows renewed unspoken. Summer healed tentative. Couples counseling in green parks. Hands linked therapy. Wyatt quit travel, local gigs grounding. Fall's harvest golden. October cabin anniversary. Rings reaffirmed. Meadow witness. November elections passed. Unity fragile but held. Thanksgiving co-op. Blended families. Toasts to resilience. December solstice. First anniversary. Dinner at Elliott's. Oysters aphrodisiac. Wyatt's gift. Deed addendum. House in Wallingford. Future rooted. To obstacles. He toasted. And us, unbreakable. Unbreakable? Winter whispered tests ahead. Love's forge unyielding. The Wallingford house was a craftsman fixer-upper. All gingerbread eaves and leaded windows fogged with promise. Tucked on a street where maple canopies arched like cathedral vaults. They closed in late January, snow dusting the yard like confectioner's sugar. Keys exchanged in a flurry of paperwork and hugs from the realtor. A queer couple themselves, beaming welcome home. Elias and Wyatt spent weekends gutting. Paint-splattered overalls, Wyatt wielding sander to reveal oak floors gleaming honey. Elias taping murals in the breakfast nook. Subtle vines curling around windows, symbols of growth entwined. It was labor as love language, sawdust-scented kisses between hammer swings, playlists shuffling from Springsteen anthems to queer folk troubadours. Our fortress, Wyatt called it one dusk, collapsing on drop cloths with pizza boxes, mortar dust streaking his cheek. Elias wiped it with thumb, lingering, the domesticity a balm on old wounds. February thawed into tentative bloom, counseling sessions evolving from fracture mending to future weaving. Wyatt's bisexuality unpacked layers. Pride parades attended arm-in-arm, bookshelves bending under titles like Bi, Notes for a Bisexual Revolution. Elias's youth workshops expanded, high schoolers sketching identities bold, Wyatt guesting once. Awkward but earnest, sharing it gets messy, but real. March rains nourished the yard. Raised beds planted with herbs and heirlooms. Wyatt's Texas tomatoes vining ambitious. Neighbors trickled. Lesbian couple next door with jam jars. Trans dad across street loaning tools. Block parties simmered. Barbecues where Wyatt flipped burgers with flair. Elias's salads artful. Stories exchanged under string lights. But spring's renewal carried undercurrents. Wyatt's firm downsized. Whispers of merger. his role precarious. Late nights returned, laptop glow haunting the kitchen, Elias waking to empty bed. Stress? Wyatt dismissed, but shadows under eyes deepened. April unearthed a ghost. Tyler's email. Firms exploding. Spot for you? Bro equity. Austin's son. Wyatt showed it casual over coffee, but Elias's mug paused mid-sip. Delete it, Elias said, voice even. Wyatt's jaw ticked. Just reading. No harm. Harm's prelude. May's pride swelled citywide. Float procession, thundering bass, confetti rainbow. They marched central, Wyatt sign ally and out. Elias's arm tattoo fresh, pine intertwined with wave. Cheers enveloped, but post-parade beers, Wyatt vented. Overkill sometimes. Like virtue parade. Elias's beer bottle chilled palm. It's survival. Wyatt backpedaled, kiss apologetic. But rift widened hairline. June anniversary. Courthouse vow renewal, co-op backyard redux. Vows deepened. Through doubts and dawns, Wyatt pledged, ring twist reaffirming. Reception intimate, Carla's pecan pie, Harlan's quiet nod. Dance floor sway, Wyatt's breath hot on neck. Forever you. July heat baked the house Reno complete. Move-in party spilling porch to parlor. Friends toasting to bricks and bonds. Laughter echoing empty rooms now furnished thrift eclectic. Wyatt's leather recliner beside Elias's velvet settee. But Tyler crashed uninvited. Backslapping Wyatt into corner. Whispers of golden opportunity, laced bourbon. Elias overheard fragments. Seattle's cute, but Austin's real money. Bring the hubs, adventure. Wyatt's chuckle forced, but eyes flickered. Night's end, bed tangled. He's full of shit, Wyatt murmured, hands roaming assured. Elias arched, doubt silenced momentary. Promise. Promise. August scorched ambitions. Wyatt's merger finalized. His position evolved to consultant, freelance precarious. Resumes polished, interviews virtual. Elias's studio boomed, grants for community art. But home tension hummed. Wyatt's pacing, phone scrolls endless. Ground yourself, Elias urged one eve, dinner cooling untouched. Here, us. Wyatt's fork stabbed salad. Trying, but bills, babe. House notes killer. Bills. Love's ledger. September's equinox tipped toward unrest. Leaves turning early fire. Wyatt landed gigs spotty. Portland commute, Boise overnights. Hotel selfies. Miss you, but distance bred disconnect. October fog veiled truths. Elias's mural unveil at Pride Center. Crowds awed. Mayor's ribbon snip. Wyatt absent, client call. Text apology. So proud. Rain check celebrate. Celebrate solo. Elias at bar. Sketches doodled on napkin. Strangers flirt rebuffed gentle. Home to empty house. Wine bottle half drunk. November elections polarized anew. Family calls barbed. Harlan's voicemails. World's going mad. You boys okay? Carla mediating. But Wyatt snapped post-call. Dad means well. Back off. Means exclusion. Elias countered, voice rising rare. Our fight. Wyatt slam. Door. Then silence. Thanksgiving skipped Austin. Co-op potluck instead. Plates passed communal. Wyatt's laugh rang hollow. Fork pushing turkey. December solstice loomed. House strung lights twinkling defiance. But Wyatt's laptop stayed open late. Tyler's chat pinging. Offer stands. Think family, kids, space. Elias glimpsed, heart plummeting. Confront dawn. Coffee bitter. What's this? Wyatt's flinch. Hypothetical. Stability. Hypothetical betrayal. Elias's voice steel. After vows. Wyatt's eyes welled. Scared. Failing you. Failing us. Bag packed. Elias to co-op couch. Friend's spare room. Walls thin with sobs. January iced isolation. Wyatt's texts barrage. Come home. Please. Counseling solo. Elias unpacking patterns. Love shouldn't beg. February's gray. Valentine's card and signed. Wyatt's gift delivered. Cabin weekend voucher. Note, rebuild. Elias burned it. Ashes snowing sink. March rains flooded basement. Metaphor cruel. House leaking like heart. April unearthed Wyatt at workshop door. Disheveled. Eyes pleading. Lost job. Tyler's real. But without you, nothing. Elias's resolve cracked. Why him? Wyatt knelt studio floor. Dust motes dancing. Escape. From failing. Forgive again. Kiss salt stung. Forgiveness's chain. They returned. House musty with absence. Beds remade tentative. May's blooms hesitant. Couples intensives. Retreats in Snoqualmie. Hikes unpacking baggage. Wyatt's Austin offer declined. Firm new local. June pride. Arm in arm. Signs bolder. July housewarming belated. Friends forgiving. August heatwave tested. AC busted. Nights sticky on porch swings. Wyatt's whispers intimate. You're my cool. September harvest. Garden bountiful. Pies baked shared. October cabin escape. Vows by fire. Rings polished. November unity held. Elections navigated dialogues. December holidays. Tree trim joint. Gifts heartfelt. Wyatt's custom code for Elias's sight. Elias's portrait capturing Wyatt's light. Solstice eve. Roof under stars. To redemptions. Wyatt toasted. Hand warm. Redemptions earned. But winter's chill lingered. Love's cycle. Eternal test. Winter's solstice passed into January's austere light. The house in Wallingford settling like an old friend. Radiators hissing lullabies against the cold. Elias and Wyatt's rhythm reformed deliberate. Mornings with coffee rituals. Wyatt grinding beans while Elias journaled dreams. Sketches blooming from subconscious soils. Counseling tapered to monthly check-ins. The therapist nodding at their resilient weave. Wyatt's freelance stabilized. Local startups hungry for his code. Elias's murals commissioned statewide. Queer narratives etched into brick and beam. February brought flurries soft as apologies. Valentine's low-key. Breakfast in bed. Pancakes heart-shaped. Wyatt's note tucked in syrup. My everyday. Elias reciprocated with a playlist, songs of second chances. Vinyl spinning lazy on the turntable they salvaged from an estate sale. Nights deepened intimacy. Bodies mapped anew. Touches reverent. Wyatt's bisexuality embraced full. Pride by flags pinned to his messenger bag. Conversations with old friends bridging gaps. March muddied paths, but they hiked together. Boots sucking loam in Discovery Park. Hands linked against slips. Remember our first trail? Wyatt asked. Breath fogging. Raven calls overhead. Elias squeezed fingers. Fell for you then. Wyatt's grin flashed white. Literally. Laughter echoed. Thawing remnants. April showers gifted rainbows post-storm. The city prismed. Elias's youth program graduated its first cohort. Teens unveiling portfolios bold. Wyatt emceeing awkward but proud. You changed lives, he said after, arms wrapping from behind in the emptying hall. We did, Elias corrected, turning into kiss. May's pride crescendoed. Float evolved, interactive, mirrors reflecting crowd faces in rainbow shards. They led, Wyatt's voice booming chants, Elias's sign, love's many shades. Post-march, confetti-strewn streets, beers on patios, toasts to endurance. June's solstice warmth invited garden feasts. Tomatoes bursting juice, salads tossed with foraged ramps. House parties hummed. Carla visiting, Harlan's Zoom toasts from Texas, recipes swapped over wine. July heat peaked, but they escaped to the cabin, anniversary ritual. Meadow wildflowered, fire pit crackling stories. Wyatt pulled a box. Adoption papers drafted. Family our way. Elias's breath caught. Kids. Wyatt nodded, eyes soft. With you. Building legacies. Tears pricked. Embrace fierce. August dog days they navigated agencies, home studies, profiles crafted tender. Wyatt's vulnerability peaked. Scared I'll mess up. Like dad. Elias cupped face. You'll love fierce. Like me. September's harvest moon waxed full. Applications submitted. October fogs veiled anticipation, but acceptance call came crisp. Match pending. A boy from Foster, 5 years old, eyes wide as worlds. November's chill, they prepared. Room painted starry skies, bookshelves stocked diverse heroes. Gay dads and tales, by uncles adventuring. Elections faded backdrop, focus inward. December holidays glowed. Tree baubled with future ornaments. Carla's plane landing snow-dusted. New Year's roof vigil. Fireworks blooming, Wyatt's arm anchor. To chapters unfolding. January's New Year birth Logan. Tousled curls, freckles faint, trust tentative as fawns. First day's chaos. Bottles warmed midnight, Elias rocking while Wyatt paced floors. Lullabies hummed off key. Sleepless but sacred, Logan's gummy smiles thawing fears. February's flurries. Family solidified. Logan's first steps wobbly toward Wyatt's open arms. Elias capturing instant. Photo framed mantle. Valentine's family. Cookies baked messy, frosting smeared cheeks. March's mud. Park puddles splashed. Boots caked joy. Logan's laughter bubbled. Wyatt's eyes misting. This, worth every scar. April showers, rainbow hunts post-rain. Logan's finger-pointing arcs. May pride. Stroller-pushing parade. Logan's flaglet waving tiny. June solstice. Cabin with toddler. Meadows explored cautious. Fireside esmores sticky. Vows whispered. To legacies. July's heat. Kiddie pool splashes. Neighbors barbecues inclusive. August dog days. Naps synchronized. Dreams shared. September harvest. Logan's first apple picked. Juice chin dripping. October fogs. Story hours by hearth. Tales of two dads' adventures. November's thanks. Table expanded. Carla, Harlan visiting Logan's highchair throne. Toasts to grace. December's lights. Logan's awe at tree glow. Solstice eve. Roof bundled. Stars above. Family below. Wyatt's whisper. Love's obstacles? Mere plot twists. Elias nodded. Logan's sleepy wait between. Life's narrative. Human and humane. Compassion's thread. Freedom's weave. Identity's bold stroke. In the end, they were the story. Straight lines bent. Roommates risen. Love's unyielding. Haven Point's rains fell gentle now. Washing clean. Promising tomorrow's unbound.